Hey
Yo,
mate,
what's up, dude? How's it been?
it has been tough.
It has been
It's a
tough.
tough transition, yeah.
I mean, it seems like you're getting some points, right? Like you've gotten some stuff.
Yeah, I've gotten some stuff, that's definitely true. But yeah, it was a big transition. I knew it was gonna be because every time I change my like rotation or keybinds up, there's
Oh
a
yeah, dude, you
whole
gotta retrain your brain. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, sure. But other than that, it's been great. How are you?
Not bad. We're kind of done for the season. We got our 421s on the board, and so we figure
Nice.
that's plenty above the title cutoff. I personally would love to do more because it's never been about the score for me. It's just about doing the hard stuff, and I'm pretty sure 21 HOA is something we could do, but our Havoc especially is very burned out right now, and he just wants to enjoy some retirement, so that's how it is.
Yeah. I can completely understand that. It has been slowing down a lot, so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
Well, he never really
understandable.
wanted to play Havoc, but he's the kind of person that's like doesn't want to just throw his body at keys because he was originally playing Sub Rogue, and he's like, nah, I gotta play Havoc in this comp or else we have no,
Yeah,
like, our prio sucks. And it's just like really good for Havoc and Fire Mage to have a, or for Destro and Fire Mage to have a Havoc in there. So it was just like,
oh yeah,
I get it, man. He kind of played a class he was less interested in for a better comp, and you know, valiant
yeah.
sacrifice. But
I get that.
yeah. So I saw you sent me an Ikudo and an Ara Kara, and I pulled them both up
Yep.
here. And man, what do you want to talk about? Is there anything specifically that we talked about on the last one that you want to do some follow up on, or do we just want to like get more granular on these keys specifically?
Like I did recheck like our was like
Mm-hmm.
a week back or so and try to like take a look at all the things that we talked about and see how I was doing with them right now. And I think there's a couple of things that I have worked on since we talked last.
Nice.
Like most of the things that I've been focusing on is like retraining a bit of rotational stuff because you give me the input on. You had one point about how to use like Flame Strike and Pyro during hypothermia, where
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of using them at any point or just slamming them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to focusing more on getting them out in the last few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then like also when to use Pyro and when to use Flame Strike, I've been working a bit on using shifting power immediately when it's available and it's correct to use it instead of
Mm-hmm.
holding on it.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is there? Like uh, also like a bit about the interrupts and stuff because I've been
Oh yeah, have you been trying the focus kick stuff?
yeah, the focus kick, yeah, and usually I've gotten the role to focus on like important interrupts, so like I've got that like pretty well done, but
Nice.
if I don't have like you know a big volley or something like that, then I'm still kind of shit at interrupts. I feel like. So I think basically like where I'm at right now is that I see that I have like I've reached a peak in terms of how my performance is letting me go on to next couple of keys. So I think I
Okay.
need to improve across the boards right now. Like I need more damage, I need more efficiency on pulls, like ergo, what do I target and not, and interrupts, and like also a bit of mechanics, like all aboard, across the board here, and also defensives, of course. So I think the correct way today is like to go into a key and just like watch it from your perspective and see what you see.
Okay.
But if I were to criticize myself, I would probably still pull the defensive usage the biggest problem, I think.
Okay. For sure. let's dive right in there. Did you want to start with Eco or do you want to start with Ara Kara?
So it doesn't really matter. Eco is I've completed Eco, so that's a
this one was timed,
one.
right? Yeah, this one looks good. And the Ara Kara though looked like
was not timed.
it was
like we
2.5 over.
Yeah, exactly. And that
I mean, the deaths are killing you here. So let's start with Ara Kara. I'm interested in talking about Ara Kara just because when I put up my 21 Ara Kara on YouTube, I got a lot of comments telling me that I was getting fucking boosted through this key because people didn't understand how to actually speed the key up. And I think this is probably going to be very illustrative, especially in the first area, right? So from the start of the key to the first boss, what slows you down the most, or what's the main obstacle you have to overcome to move on?
Well, the 3 mini bosses.
Right? Yeah. You can't chain into the next pull until the mini bosses are dead, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of those mini boss pulls, there's the mini boss. There might be like 3 or 4 actual dangerous mobs that either do casts or put poison debuffs on people. And then there's like 10 shitters, right? There's a ton of those little like jabbing flyers or crawlers or whatever, right? They kind of do nothing other than put like a little, they jump out and do a little bit of damage and a bleed or something or whatever it is. So when we were initially working on this key as a 20, I was doing whatever I thought would maximize my overall. And that was, on a lot of these mini boss pulls, I was flame striking initially until all the shitter mobs were dead. And then I would start pyroblasting. And our like 20 timer was like 29 or something and some change when we timed it. We were like, man, that's nowhere near good enough to try to get a 21. And then I think it was like a Monday and we just had a 21 Ara Kara in bags. And we were just like, let's send it even if we don't think we can get it. And I was like, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try just pyroblasting the mini bosses. And we had 5 deaths on that, and we were only like 17 seconds over. And of course, the next time we got a 21 Ara Kara, we timed it because that did 2 things. One, all of my damage was focused on the one mob that needs to die before you can chain into the next pull. And 2 was that because we have a Havoc DH, me leaving all the shitter mobs alive longer meant that he got more funnel. And so we got out of this first area when my DH was doing like 20 mil or something fucking crazy. So this is what I would recommend on... Where's my Ara Kara? So like here we get to first boss. There we go. We're at the first boss here. Getting the pull together, right? And my DH is at 22 mil overall. My Warlock's at 28 because he's actually killing the shitter mobs. I'm doing fucking 15. I'm doing tank dam, or allegedly tank dam. But if we look at the log for this, it's like all mini boss, or that one pull where you don't do mini boss and it's just a bunch of engorged crawlers. Like that was the only time I was flame striking. And all of a sudden we went from 29 seconds on the 20 or 29 minutes on the 20 to like 26, and then the next time we got a 21 we just fucking got it, right? So here's what I would recommend, and this is going to kill your overall in the first area, but it's going to speed up the key, because ultimately when you go into this type of pull, shitter mob, or these aren't shitter mobs, these are these do poisons. They eventually need to die at some speed, but like shitter, right? Like all of this stuff, it's just the casters that you play. But a lot of these are like, okay, if I flame strike, I'm doing damage to these, sure. Are you going to do a lot of damage? No, because they're going to, like, but by the time that you have gotten through your combust and your hypothermia and your ignite has ticked all the way, the rep paladin has divine stormed them to death, right? You don't even get like the full ignite tick on them. So why do something that you're mediocre at when what you could do is really pump the boss here, or the mini boss I should say. he sets the focus. The goat. So here, you know, you go in and you're flame striking, and this is gonna like, you're gonna do good, like decent overall here because you're actually, let's actually check the combustion. Okay, slow it way down because you were talking about rotational stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have we get our hot streak. You stop to, okay, you got to get the lust off. Understandable. That costs you maybe a bit of a cast though, and then we're into it. And we flame strike, fire blast, flame strike, fire blast, flame strike, fire blast, flame strike. Lovely. Phoenix flames, flame strike, perfect. Yeah, there is a mandatory scorch when you don't have any spellfire spheres. It's kind of inevitable. So, yup. Get the refund, get the kick. So smooth. Flame strike, nice and slow. We're 2 seconds on combustion here. Yep. I mean, that was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you did absolutely nothing wrong there. And then this should be burning a fire blast since we got the recharge and we're almost capped. Let's see if you do it. Yup. Nice. Yup. One more hot streak conversion here. Yup. Yep, spend the GI right away. Dude, this is it. Yeah, okay, so like the framework's there. Ooh, nice shimmer. Let's go. Keyboard turn, or not keyboard turn, we're spinning the camera. I'm seeing,
Yeah.
Dude, I'm seeing it happen, baby. It's happening. All right. Okay, so we've made it to the end of your first set of cooldowns. All the shitter mobs died. And have been dead for some time. Let's go. They died effectively here, right? We have all the shitter mobs are gone. So at this point, we should have switched to pyros.
Yep.
And you do make that observation. But now the mini boss is still at 500 mil, and this is probably okay, let's see. Do you shift and go straight into that? So I would have shifted and gone straight into the next combustion, but this is fine.
Yep.
Because, I mean, you had the GI, so you have stuff coming back here. I don't think this is the worst, yeah. Okay, good. You swapped back to the mini boss. All right, I was gonna say it is better for. It is better for. Oh, and it was his kick too, I bet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody could have gotten it, but you could not have. And your cut gets proc by that. Unlucky. Okay, it would have if you would have pyroed this, you probably do. Let's just say double the damage to the first guy.
Yep. The first guy meaning the boss.
Yeah, the first mini boss. Yeah. At the expense of a significant amount of overall, and this pull is done at like. Okay, you start chaining at like 220. Let's just say. So. Yeah, we'll just go to that dip, right? So, yeah, I bet you could do 500 mil to this guy. If you actually, let's look. I'm gonna literally just directly compare us and see how much damage I do to the first mini boss, which I think we kill it faster because we're funneling the fuck out of it. But go go to that. Yeah, see, but my Havoc is doing crazy mini boss damage because I'm leaving all the little stuff alive, and my Warlock's also smart enough to hit it, right? But I think this is... I don't even think this is 2 combustions. I want to say this is like 1, and I think I switch halfway through. Oh no, okay. We're hitting it most of the time. Pyro... Exit. That's probably about where the 102, so it ends at like 113. Yeah, this is the hyperthermia. It dies about here. But yes, I bet you could probably speed this up by a little bit. And then if you get here and the mini boss is, let's just say it's, yeah, the mini boss is dead here. Maybe everything else is a little, or maybe the little things live longer, but that's not really something you're too worried about. You can start chaining this stuff in as soon as this first attendant dies. Like, you guys can chain the other stuff in and just kind of like kick the other attendant into the next pack, right? And that is going to that's going to help, because it's really just that there's only one other caster over there too. And so if you kind of chain kick this guy in, and then there's 2 casters to kick, and because like in this group, Prop Pal can solo one of them and the other 4 people can just kick rotation on the attendant, and then just like reminding people that they don't have to kick Resonating Barrage. You can just, because it's a channel, you can just like stop. You can just hit any stop for that, and it'll stop the channel. You just have to kick the web bolts. It makes it so you never really run out of kicks. And then, yep, just scorching to get back combustion. Yep. This is fine. Ooh, get a nice little proc there. Yep, spend it.
Should I, in this position, like wait until I've used my whole hyperthermia before doing combustion?
Yes, unless you're specifically trying to get combustion back on a certain timer, you should finish the hyper. It is a very minor gain to do the full hyperthermia and then send the combustion. It's a very small loss to instantly send the combustion. So there might be some instances where like maybe the boss has a invulnerability that you need to play around, like Big Mama or the second boss of Ecodome or something like that, where you want to send the combustion so that you get through the whole thing or something before the boss goes immune or whatever it is. Then you wouldn't wait, right? But in this scenario, it changes absolutely nothing about how you play this pack, right? It's you're gonna just like be doing this exact thing, just flame striking over and over again until you guys are ready to, you've killed enough of it to then chain into the mini boss pack. Going through. Yep, this is fine. If this is done in a normal way, yep, perfect time to shifting. Yep, and perfect. Yep, didn't burn any resources in between. Coming in with a lot of resources for this. And yep, that's a totally fine time chain. Good spot to stand. Yep. One thing I don't always figure this out, but remembering before going into this mini boss not to mirror image, because then the little spiders jump all the way out to your images over here, and it can be rough for your tank to pick them up. They'll jump all the way out. This is fine. Yeah, see those two. Yeah. Yep, and then just fireball in. Perfect. And here's another instance where I would just pyro the mini boss.
Yeah.
Right? And you do. We were flame striking for a little bit.
More at the boss because like they are literally like just padding.
Yeah, so you did 268 to Ixen. And how much do you actually do to Nact? 144. Okay, this guy figured out how to how to funnel better on that one. Hell yeah. Yeah, DH should destroy this mini boss with the amount of little funnel mobs he gets. Yeah, if you can kill this guy before the last before this kind of third cast, that's usually means you're on a good pace. And then yeah, definitely holding here, you kind of just like find one under 30 and you can just Scorch and Flame Strike, right? They'll die. It's not really anything you have to worry about. And then here's another one where you just got to get the attendant kicks in, and let's see, we're pyroing. Nice. Do you pyro the whole way here? Let's see. What is this? Attic. Like, yeah, look at that. You do like 300 mil to this guy probably because you just start pyroing off the rip. And the overall, like, okay, this guy is pad, like, you know, red is pad central, but you're still doing okay. Having barely there are 125 mil flame strikes in there, but like that's not even that much. And yeah, the faster you kill these guys, the faster you can move on to the next pull. We'll see exactly how the timing looks on this, but I've also found that on this particular mini boss, it can be advantageous to kind of send a combust later than you think you can. Like if you can get an extra one in, because usually when it gets down to here, right, everyone's usually just hitting the mini boss, right? And the last things that are usually alive are the two crawlers. You can usually farm back combustion on them. You can also farm back combustion on the initial pull of the boss, because it's almost better to have your first combustion be a little delayed on the first boss so that it matches up with the eggs spawning. I don't know if you could send one here. I don't, yeah, they're not healthy enough to send, but if you ever find yourself, I guess, in a 19 or something where you can maybe fit another cooldown in there.
Yep.
Let's see. Oopsie. What's up, Theseus? Okay, so hold the boss. Pyroing, good. You can pretty much alter 2 out of every 3 of these because of shifting power, and you do. Fantastic. Now, it is more overall to Flame Strike. If your group, like, unlike the quote-unquote shitter mobs that we have talked about on some of the other ones, those crawlers do need to die. So like, if your damage is necessary, if your flame striking is necessary to kill them fast enough, then you need to do what you just did. Absolutely. If you can get away with not doing it, your damage goes down, but the boss dies significantly faster, right? Because whenever you're flame striking, and especially if they're not perfectly on top of the boss to where the flame strike isn't hitting the boss, then it's a lot of like boss damage loss, right? So
yeah, I think I usually do it flame strike on the first pack because that's when my ignite doesn't spread as like predictable.
Yeah.
But on the other packs, I usually use pyro because it seems that it's pretty consistent.
Oh, nice.
That I get.
Nice into this.
That I get like in ignite spreads to them.
Yeah. Yep, this is, totally fine. One thing you can do here, there's not a lot of good places on this one to shimmer, because usually if you're shimmering like during the circle dropping phase, you're kind of dropping awkward ones. You can do this where you, while you're fixated, kind of like stay out of melee range. Or this is not a good example, but kind of walk it through like next to the boss like this, and then when it's a little bit out of the pack, shimmer back the other way to kind of walk it back through.
Right.
This will stop you from getting meleeed as much by them, because the melees do hurt and it can maybe save your healer some grief. Not necessary at all. If you don't think you can do it consistently too, it is going to annoy people that might be trying to cleave off of them. But if you can kind of get the movement down, then like here I'm just tanking it for a bit. Let me see if I actually do it here. I don't know if I do, because there's like shit on the sides and I don't. Okay, I do. So like kind of walk it that way, and then realize that it's just kind of bad that it's just walking out. Yeah. So that's just like a little thing you can do to try to save a little bit of damage. But you could probably
I
get
must
by.
have picked that up from your video, because I have done that at some point.
Oh,
but
yeah, sweet.
I can't remember where I learned it from. So yeah,
Yeah,
probably saw
okay.
it for you then.
So this is, you guys get through it. It's pretty fine. Like, timer's all right here. Maybe a little slow, because you kind of want to be already maybe on the second beetle with lust coming up, but it's not the end of the world to just like lust this guy.
Yeah, I think we do lost this.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely.
And I think like our biggest time loss, if I remember correctly, is from the second boss. I think
Second boss, okay.
For a long time.
Just something to note on this: stand on the tank. Always stand on the tank
Okay.
when there's blood workers up, because they charge things that are out of melee with them. So you want to stand on
right.
the tank and you won't get charged. And yeah, pyroing the blood guard is exactly the right thing you want to do here. You want to do that until the blood guard's dead. You know, he does that massive AoE damage reduction while he's still alive. So you kind of just like, yeah, you can see like you're getting charged there, right? Okay, so why did you
Shouldn't I take that damage
hold?
if I'm...
Go ahead.
I was asking you, I wouldn't take that damage that I do here if I stand in melee, you say?
Yeah, I think you get charged a couple times. Is what? Yeah, I see how those guys both leapt out to you.
Okay.
I think what something else was probably going through your head when this combustion came up. Can you remember why you sat on it for a little while here? Maybe
I
just
think it's...
kicks
No,
or
I
something?
can't remember. I used
Okay.
Probably waited when I saw the hypothermia.
Maybe you were
go
looking
up
at
and
the
my health go down and
stag
stuff
shell.
like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it
Oh
was.
yeah,
It's just-
stag shell might be it. Yeah.
I think you saw the
I think
pole
we were
moving,
going
and maybe
stag
you're
shell
just,
with
yeah,
it.
you were thinking about other stuff. And wait, did you get hyperthermia? And I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I did get
Hypothermia.
hypothermia, but that's I have combustion up before I get
Here.
hypothermia.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, obviously, like right here, we would want to go straight back into the next. Yeah, so you do proc hyperthermia,
Well,
but
maybe I think I use combustion because I like drop everything, so it looks like I
yeah, maybe just maybe
believe
just
I'm
a
in
miss.
combustion.
Yeah, it happens. Rip Pave or Pavel or however you pronounce his name again. Tanks might not just know this, but like trying to go between packs when there's blood workers alive, people should be aware that it's like kind of lethal for that whole reason about them charging stuff that's out of melee. I don't think enough people realize that like if just, you know, you get picked by 4 people, you just fucking die. Okay, and we're back to the blood worker. Nice. Okay, that was perfect. Yeah, swapped instantly to pyroing when he came in. That's exactly what you should be doing. Good altar here as well. During this whole area, I would just be thinking of good. Okay, you hit the mirror. I would be thinking of I want to get literally mirrors as soon as it comes off of cooldown. I'm gonna press it again because it's like I'm almost always gonna be taking damage, and I just want the uptime on the DR. Yep, still just pyroing. That's exactly what you should be doing here. Yep. We should hyperthermia straight into shifting power, hopefully. Nice. Setting the focus. Dude, you're a machine. You're doing it. I don't Let's see.
Thanks for the good review.
I mean, yeah, clearly, yeah, you were definitely paying attention. I can say that much.
Oh yeah, I was for sure.
Yeah. Yep, just flame striking. I absolutely think that's right here. You could, at this target count, probably just pyro the web mage. Very minor. Like, these guys are harder to chain, and especially if you're gonna do there's that one caster, or what is it? Is it 3 in the next? Like, you kind of want, this guy needs to be dead before you can start chaining in more packs, right?
Right.
So, but as soon as it gets back into this target count, you should go right back to flame striking. So, like, maybe I would pyro a couple times there during that hyperthermia, just because it's like, all right, I could flame strike to kill the blood workers a little faster, or I could like kill the one mob that actually has a chance of like killing someone if we screw up, right? Same here, right? I would be on circle right now, and I would just be pyroing it, because you chain the assistants for a million years. It's just something that the tank has to deal with. Okay, and you're doing it, so that's good. Yep. Nice. Good. Yep. Good choice here.
And this will get so hectic. I remember this.
Oh no. Does it go off?
Yeah.
Oh, the end cap. Okay, he dies for it, but he gets the end cap. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
Good ice cold. Good June Viz too. Yeah. Double revolting volley goes off and you guys live it. Okay, yep. Do you guys pull the little double stag shell? Is that the normal thing to do? Yeah. I would, it doesn't matter all that much, but if you guys are doing that, anytime you're gonna do the double stag shell, cleave off of a web mage, because the assistants can always get chained into the next pull. And there you go. Like right here, your tank should be walking. There he goes. Yeah. And you kind of can't do this until the web mages are dead, so even if they died 2 or 3 seconds earlier, that's good.
But should I be like pyroing the web mages there?
Not when there's that many, not when there's that many mobs, but just the very minor like fact that you're going to fire blast or phoenix flames or whatever off of a mob is that's when you're flame striking, you have almost no prio, but whatever prio you are gonna do, prio the web mage is what I'm saying. Right, you're still gonna spend on flame strikes, but do the phoenix flames, do the fire blasts. If you have to fireball in between, do it on a web mage, just because they kind of need to die before you go into the next pull. Like, God, chaining the web mage in here actually makes me nervous, because
yeah, we stopped doing it because everyone was saying no, don't.
I like just sending the combustion here. I think that's smart. You know you're going straight into the next pull. You're gonna have almost no downtime. Holding there just to have better blood grid damages. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, just another stand on the tank moment here. Why is he taking it over there? That's interesting.
So which one is jumping, you say? Is it the blood workers?
Yeah, the blood workers.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't do it. It's not like a ton of damage, but if you get charged during this Locust Swarm, you are in danger of dying. So like that was a good ice cold there. If for some reason, and I mean on the 21, I'm pressing defensives on the Locust Swarm no matter what, but you could probably get away with just something like Alter or Barrier or whatever if you know you're in melee range of the tank and you're not getting charged. But everybody has to be on the same page about that, because if one person's standing out and the blood workers charge them, and then as they're like walking back in, they're now not in melee range of other people, you can see yourself like getting charges during this, right? It's not doing all that much, but you can see them like running around, right, and hitting people.
Yeah.
G-Invis to cancel the charge is technically a time saver, so that's good. It helps your melee DPS with their uptime on the boss, so like I think it's worth it probably to do. I don't know though, it kind of depends on your healer. If your healer knows to just like pump spot heals when you get the debuff, then you kind of shouldn't need too much on this boss. Like you shouldn't need the G-Invis somewhere else. But if you were worried and you were like, man, I don't want to so here, if you're gonna do the baits, stand with your back to that little point, like right here, because the wall ends like right here. I don't quite do this right, but if you stand like this, you can see he stops like right there, and it's not a very far charge at all, and you can just shimmer and then walk out, or double shimmer if you feel like you need to. And if you just like ping where you're going, you see if he goes all the way into the corner like this, it's also a little dangerous because that's where the ads spawn, and you can rip aggro if one spawns right next to you, and you're in the middle of pressing Fire Blast to spread Ignite. I have gotten killed or had my caught proc on this boss because I instantly grabbed aggro and then Hey! Whoa! Nice altar. Yep. That was crazy.
It felt crazy.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. It helps if there's some consistency. Go ahead.
I think my shimmer didn't go off, so I think I felt like I got stuck. Or it went off, but probably hit like an invisible ledge or something like that.
Yeah. we could look and see exactly. Okay, so everyone's in melee, so everyone is an eligible target for the burrow charge, and you get it.
Okay, so here I think
you shimmer and you hit this little point, so you go nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we see the cast go. Yep. And then
I don't have any
you
shimmers.
alter, the damage goes, and then you alter the damage off. That's so good, well, dude.
Right? Oh, I do.
It's
I
boop.
do only get one hit.
Yep.
Because you can get hit by this twice, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's like the charge and then like the knock up at the end. Like right there's another. But you were out of range. Holy shit. 3 frames. That was 3 frames. It's so good.
That was more luck than good, but yeah, I get you.
I mean, dude, I see a live no cauterize proc. That we call that a win. Right?
Yeah, we do.
We call it a win, and we change our underwear after, but it's still a W. you know, just spotting this, I think you maybe overspend IBs a bit here. Yeah, I don't like coming into this with. I guess you had the GI, but minor nitpick, but maybe this could have just been a. So you combust? Oh, is that just as a fireball Phoenix Flame? That's fine. Never mind. That's fine. I said nothing. No notes.
Okay.
You said you felt like this took a really long time?
Yeah.
$442. Yeah, about we did this in 435 on 21.
Felt like we were there forever.
I mean, you do good damage there. I think it's just the Havoc doesn't know it. Well, okay. Now you guys had chained in a lot of blood workers as well. I used to absolutely crush the other two guys on this boss, but then because we normally would skip that beetle and blood worker pack with Warlock Gate, but then we stopped skipping it, and I stopped having my no funnel advantage that I had on these guys, and I no longer had overwhelmingly good boss damage. Like they're able to do the same amount. So the Havoc is definitely doing something wrong here, but I think this is totally respectable. It's good boss dam. I don't think you can worry too. Whatever you're doing here, it's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing 37. I'm only 500k ahead of you, and we kill this boss a little faster. Yeah, a little faster. We can literally chalk that up to like gear diff, or maybe just a couple things done better, but not necessarily like any overarching problems. And like I'm not seeing any glaring stuff where you just overspend massively out of combustion or are playing these hypothermias wrong, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned gear difference now. That's something actually we could take a look at later, because that would be really interesting to see if you have any pointers on my gear. I'm not 730 yet, so
if we're here,
that's a big issue.
What are we? Man, you can't just get this out of Dinar. You'd have to just keep killing soul hunters until you get that on myth track.
Yeah, my guild stopped re-clearing now.
Same with this. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always play the auction house.
Oh, for that one?
Yeah, you could just get like a 730 ring off the AH if you really wanted to. It would not be cheap, but you could get a, you know, haste mastery or haste verse ring off of the auction house. You know, I got this. I don't know if it's good, but if the sim says you can run this, then like go for it. And if you don't have any other myth track options, yeah, well, like you can definitely do. Yeah, you can definitely do like at least, if you don't want to do AH, crafting a 727 ring here, you know, would be an upgrade.
I would do, but sim doesn't say it's an improvement, so like I'm still just waiting to get it in
727 ring is not an upgrade over a 717 with almost balanced stats? That I find surprising. Okay.
Maybe I'm saying him wrong, but that's I think.
I would think 10 I
send you my sim.
Because yeah, send me your sim.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Good.
do use a bit of other gear when I do raiding, so I think the
Makes
rings I
sense.
switch out for raiding, and also I think I switch out astral antenna if I'm, yeah. And I think my sim there was really close on which would be an improvement, but I think that was
Okay.
it.
I'm surprised astral antenna is something well for you.
It's really close, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got.
Hmm. Is there a reason you ran Ash and Feather instead of Wildfire in this Ara Kara?
No reason, no.
Okay. Because there's not a single boss that is a single target encounter. There's periods of single target, but this is better anytime there's more than one target. All right, let's grab the. Yeah, Wildfire. All right, we'll see what we can find here. See if we can find any stuff. Okay, let's do. We'll do verse haste, and we'll do haste mastery just for. Actually, max sockets and mastery. Let's look at Parapodia.
I do have Signet of Collapsing Stars, I think, and what's the other?
Oh shit, dude, that's a good ass ring. Love this ring.
Yeah, I used that in raid, but not in Mythic.
Interesting.
Not in Mythic Plus.
Okay. And Smartest Fury. No red gem, that's not that uncommon. Hopefully you can get a gem thing for the helm out of vault. Yeah, we're not going to worry about the 60 billion replacing options here. We'll just do fine. Probably going to be haste. Okay, let's do. Do you use alchemical chaos or do you use mastery or haste?
Or swiftness, I use.
Okay. And just like primary stat or what? What are you doing?
With 10 bosses or 5?
I'm going to play with this in a second. I just want to make sure this stuff's right.
Yeah, I use the basic food. Like
Okay.
standard.
I ran a big sim of everything, and interestingly enough, marinated tenderloins was the best one for me. So we're gonna sim you with tenderloin. All right, we're gonna do one boss, 4 minutes with lust. Run that. We're also gonna do. We'll do the. We'll do the intensifying flame threshold there. We'll do minimal flame strike target count thing. That's good enough. Yeah. Various breakpoints. Okay. Nice. While that is running, let's look back at the log. So for the deaths. Erupting webs. Singularity. Where do you guys actually lust here? It's at 26. So I'm sure you've noticed that these pulls with the flyers are fucking terrifying.
I have.
You need to probably track the charge timer on your frame. I would recommend doing that.
Okay.
Because every single time those charges are about to go, like this, you need to have barrier, or like literally just rip the ice cold proactively, or rip the G-Invis, because if you get like 3 of those, even on an 18, I think you just straight up fall over.
I hate that I need to track that. Oh,
yeah, it's
that's like,
I mean, until you get it one banks, it's just like, if you get, I think I've gotten killed. There was one time I just got 2 of them, but I didn't like have anything going for it, and that was just enough to kill me. So
yeah.
Okay, with these guys, I think
I have noticed, like,
yeah,
sometimes we are unlucky with that pull, so
you definitely, if there's carriers alive, you want to flame strike, because they are quite lethal. The overseers are not actually what kills you on this pull, right? Like, usually you can get away with the, oh man, he got rude and then killed. Usually you can get away with just managing the kicks, and that's not too much of a problem, but the carriers will fuck you up. And so so flame striking here is absolutely the right decision. And then man, you guys just had some unfortunate deaths on this key. I think that we talked about the couple things you maybe could do to speed it up a little bit. Just kind of getting through that first area a little faster. I think your first boss was fine, but if those minis can die quicker, then you can move through the dungeon a little bit quicker. And then, I mean, yeah, no, you just straight up, you guys were GG, like, probably. Yeah, you're already cooked, like, right here. 7 minutes is not enough time. It's like a 4.5 minute boss, and then you have some big pulls to get through. 2 big pulls. All right, let's just look at the one boss where we go fucking crazy, or one of. There's a couple bosses that you go crazy on, and this is certainly one of them, because you have permanent GI cleave and a million combustions. You can never get a puddle by using altar. Whether or not that's the right thing, I'm still not sure of, but that is something you can think about if you want to save puddles for your party at the expense of not using altar as a defensive, right? Because like if you can alter this and just snap back to your altar and never have to actually get a puddle, but then you don't get to alter the
damage actually like come in here. Like, am I free to like go into the circle and then pop out just before it ends?
Let me show you. Yeah, so you when the singularity's going out, you just kind of, and I just play where there's no puddles. You just alter, and you can literally just like do your thing, and then at 0.5 I just snap back out. Never have to grab a puddle. Disadvantages is that like if you save altar for when you get a poison, you can kind of like react to getting the poison and then save yourself a couple ticks. But I've found that that's not something I really need to think about in my group. Like my healer does fine with keeping me alive or just dispelling. So the ability to like never have to think about this mechanic, right? the further you are from the boss, the more leniency there is in the timing, because you don't have to worry about going. If you're too close and you go too early, then you'll get pulled back into the circle and die. If you're far away, you kind of have a bigger window where you can alter, and even if you're a little early, it won't matter. So
and then if I'm early, I could also then
you could
shimmer
also,
out, I guess.
yeah, exactly. You can always just shimmer it too. Like, you have a ton of ways to not ever have to do a puddle as a mage, and I think it's nice to not have to do one, because one, it just leaves a puddle for somebody else, and then like you can still just just hard casting, step out. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you guys were, man, probably just maybe GG here even. I think what time did you guys actually make it to this boss? With 11.5 minutes left on the key.
Like, didn't you out damage us so hard on the second boss? Like, you said that the only difference was 20 seconds or something, but it felt like your guys' damage.
Well,
so
yeah, our
much
damage
higher.
is significantly higher, but also because the boss on a 21 here has 4.2 billion health, and this has 3.2, right? So you just got an extra
Okay, so
billion health.
there is still a lot of time to save here on the second boss.
Yeah, and a lot of that, like, I guess the comparison I wanted to draw was that between you and I'm only 500k ahead of you on actual boss damage here. So I don't think you're necessarily doing anything egregiously wrong. The main thing is that somehow the Havoc in your group did 2.7 mil, and our Havoc did 4.5, like, because you gave him lots of blood workers to funnel off of, and I have no idea what Rhett's profile is. I haven't played with too many Rhetts, but this is pretty bad single target for sure. So even though you guys were only 7 seconds, the overall boss damage here is 11 mil per second compared to 15. Like, that's a pretty big gap. So yes,
But
if
like,
you
how
guys,
would I? What's the biggest difference between your damage and my damage in terms of like how we play this boss?
between the two of us,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's hit this little compare button. And let's grab my log. We'll do not alter. We want the blue Anub'zekt, and we want the purple Anub'zekt, and then we want alterate, and we want placement. Okay, so it looks like it just straight up comes down to cast per minute. Let's check the damage specifically. Anub'zekt. I just straight up got another 23 pyros, 8 fire blasts, or no, 9 fire blasts.
It's not like I leave huge gaps in between my casts. This is like a range thing. Am I too far off?
I mean,
Like,
I think I have
2 seconds in between,
I have more haste than you, I'm sure. No, not by that much. Okay, you just have, no, it's mainly just burst versus mastery. Okay. What this probably means is that I'm just gonna bet that I have more combustion uptime, and that is leading to more pyros. Nope, it's 1%. So I'm probably just spending more time casting than you are. That might be what it really comes down to. All right, this is the whole dungeon we're looking at. Looking at Anub'zekt specifically. Yeah, it's still just 1% though. Yeah, just slightly.
This is like it's a thing that I've been seeing when comparing my logs to others as well, but I'm having a really hard time to dig down how I would be more efficient with my casts. Like how I could literally squeeze in more.
I'm also scorching. I have like half the scorch casts of you. And the only time we should ever be scorching, right, is if we run out of instant casts and combustion, and to maintain improved scorch and execute, right? So like how much damage did because it's like you can just see the average cast is fucking nothing, right?
Yeah.
When you're scorching. So this probably tells me that you are scorching for movement more, potentially, whereas I am not, because our casts per minute were about the same, but I was a little higher by like 2. But if I'm doing less of these and more of these, which I do have a couple more fireballs, right? And that is a substantial, that's going to be not substantial, but that is a difference. But if maybe the fact that I'm planting and fireballing and then converting, because right, for the fireball, you actually get the advantage of that pyrotechnics talent or whatever. I forget the name of it. Yeah. Where, if a fireball doesn't crit, then the next one has a better chance to crit. And so if you fireball 2 or 3 times, then you get the crit and you have a hot streak and that turns into a pyro. Scorch does not get that benefit, right? Scorch, you're just preying on whatever your crit chance is every single time that you cast it. So that could add up to more pyros over the course of the fight. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is that it looks like I get 20 more pyros than you, right? And that's 400k by itself, because and more fire blasts it looks like as well. So, and you can look at the reason why I might have more fire blasts to cast is that I'm managing the kind of the cyclic generation of it in and the GI timings just might be better for me, where I'm maybe not munching, or I'm just converting more hot streaks because I'm fireballing more and scorching less. So I'm just getting more pyros, so I'm getting more spheres, so I'm getting more GIs, and so I'm generating more fire blasts, so I get more pyros, right? And it's just that whole cycle. This is just a observation, and again, we weren't that far apart, right? Like, it's not egregiously different here. But just looking at this does seem like a high amount of scorch casts. Let's look at scorch. Is that right? I guess I drop it briefly. Anub'zekt. I mean, you had better IS uptime than me, so I clearly was doing something wrong. Maybe I should have scorched a couple more times, because I definitely dropped the debuff. I can't tell at this time. But there we go. Okay. That's fine. We can just go. Yeah, I drop it for about 12 seconds. That's definitely a mistake. I'll just now I'm curious. Yeah, okay, so what happened here? I think I just don't. Yep, I'm just not even thinking about it here when I go into this. He goes. Yeah, just rip this whole. Or was it a hyperthermia? Does he go into something? I could have been scorching there, but I didn't. The hyperthermia lines up exactly with.
It like naturally build up again, right?
Yeah, you let it drop during hyperthermia. Your only priority is to pyro. It is a loss to scorch during this. That was okay, so we get the 2 and same thing. So I get out of combustion, I'm in hyperthermia. Okay, so this is where you let it drop. Yeah. And I get another, okay, so that's why, yeah, I could have scorched there, but I get another hyperthermia proc at the exact end, and you would finish it and then put it back up again. Okay, so I'm exonerated. All right, cool. So, yeah. But I mean, so the boss is just that you guys were slower getting to it, more so than, I think it's just like the Avanoxx was 347. I mean, a little bit slower on the first boss too, but again, I bet if we look at our Havoc boss damage to Avanoxx, it's gonna be all very different. Yeah, so he does 6 mil. Good old
yeah.
does 6 mil. Whereas let's leave that. Whereas Highway to Fell does 3. So somehow he manages to do almost no boss dam, which is kind of surprising. And once again, dude, you're like right there when it comes to boss damage. Basically the same. I kind of just don't touch the little guys. I just kind of hit the boss. Yeah. And then
I think though the damage on the second boss, that's infuriating to me to know that I'm 500k behind, and I really don't know like how I would get those 500k, if you know what I mean. Because like doing more pyros obviously is a good idea, but
yeah, okay, let's watch it
there,
back.
You know?
Let's just get into it then. If we need to figure out exactly what that is, then
critique me.
Okay, so go in. You're finishing the blood guard. Very normal to finish the blood guard, and then was that a munch? Phoenix Flames, Pyro, Fire Blast, Pyro, Fire Blast, Torch, Fire, Fire Blast, Pyro. Yeah, no, that's all good.
But I mean, like, yeah, that's a GCD drop though with the
G-Invis, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And if you just go stand over here, it's like kind of unnecessary. That's, you know, you can just like bait, shimmer out. Fireballing here, that's fine. You have to scorch here to do the dodges, right? Back to fireballing. Okay, you could say that this here, where what should be like, I'm sure you're concerned with what's happening here, but this scorch should be going into a combust, right? But you finished the scorch, and we just lost like a second or two there, right?
Yeah.
And also, if you have hot streak and you're entering combustion and you don't have to move, do a fireball. Don't do the scorch. Right? That could explain some of the damage difference, because fireball at least does something compared to like scorches. Not all this really bad damn, right? Right, yep. So like you're here, you're kind of moving for the, like, you didn't need to scorch there because you were kind of just planted during this anyway. It's like this fireball's fine. You're giving yourself some room on this, but yeah, that you were moving, that's to be expected. Shifting's fine.
I guess I could have used shifting power as well and just dodged out the way during shifting power as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're just, okay, I've got shimmer charges, right? I'm just gonna not fucking move, right? He's coming at me no matter where I end up, so I'm gonna just not wiggle, right? And this is fine. This gets a little awkward as we discussed. Good altar though. Okay, and then that right there is an example of, hey, you should be casting something,
Yeah.
right? Even just a scorch is better than doing no casting there.
Okay, so it's a bit too much movement, basically. Like,
Yeah, you need to, hey, call it preparation for midnight, but you need to do some some like calming down the amount of movement that you're doing. That was a good entry. So you recognize that you could stand still there, and you just did a nice little, fireball entry, and that's how you want to do it. Barely squeeze by there. That's fine. I don't like shimmering in that circle either. It's always feels like there's just not enough room. Nice. Perfect.
And there are a bunch of bits I see.
Yeah. Get the Thermia proc, that's fine. Then like here we should just be fireballing. Oh yeah, that was the fireball Phoenix Flames entry, which is exactly what you should have done there, so that's fine. Now you're under 30, so the scorching is totally okay.
What would you use for defensives for that debuff there?
I usually try to alter it, so I'll stand in the middle of the circle, and then if I get the debuff, I'll alter and move right and try to drop it as far to the right as I possibly can, and then just, if I'm able to like drop it on the right and then snap back to the middle with alter, that's great. If I have to alter a little early and put it in the middle, it's also fine. It's not something that just like surprises you with the amount of damage it does and instantly kills you, which is why alter kind of feels like the right answer to it, because you can just literally watch your health, and if you start to tick down lower, you just just hit it. This is fine.
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe just like calming down the movement a little bit will probably help your damage on this, because let's just like we don't have to go in with the blood worker, we finish it, but like I don't have combustion here. I'm using my instance because I'm moving over to where I just always bait over here, right? Almost die there. Dropping the circle away from the point so that I can just shimmer. I don't even think this is a perfect combust because I'm sitting on some Phoenix Flames that I should have sent earlier. It's just an example of thinking about two things at once.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just in it, right? We're just hypotherming. That's fine. To try to do the worst thing ever, which is, yeah, I think I hate trying to shift inside this, but yeah, I knew I wanted to shifting power, but they're straight into just the fireball, knowing that I don't have to move. Then I try to just like, right, reset back to my little point here. It helps my group if they know that the charge is always going to go a specific direction. Right? So like, I just try to be very consistent with the fact that it's always going over here.
Right.
That way they never have to guess. And if they're just standing in melee anywhere else than that direction, then they'll be fine, right? So then like here, right? Great example of I have nothing to do other than just sit there and right. I don't have to go anywhere right now. So I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to fireball, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'll get this, it'll go straight into the Eye of the Swarm. Sometimes it will give you another charge. So I cover my movement because I don't want to burn the Shimmer charge in case he does a charge, right? So I'm going to I'm going to cover this movement, right, with we're doing this, and I've got technically 2.8 Phoenix Flames charges because I have my free one, right? So it's okay, and then I'm gonna use my Phoenix Flames to cover, right? I'm gonna use 2 casts of that to cover while I'm walking this way, right? And then I can fireball.
In that instance, I would probably use the Scorch instead, but would you prefer like doing a Phoenix Flame if you're...
Absolutely, yeah. Dude, if you have Phoenix Flames to burn like that, which again, I had like basically 3 charges because I had the free one. It is absolutely fine to Phoenix Flames back to back for a hot streak conversion. And like here, kind of the same idea, which is when we don't have to move, we're gonna fireball, right? When we're just moving and we're in Kabush, we could just send perma. It's great. I'm already in my spot, so I'm just over here. Even though I didn't burn, like I could probably do better by maybe sending more IVs, but also, I mean, so getting the charge, and I'm just gonna shimmer out, and here it kind of, so instead of scorching, right, same thing, I've got Phoenix Flames, my combustion is nowhere close, right? So I don't need to like hold on in this moment. I do not need to hold on to IBs or Phoenix Flames, right? It's going to be a little while anyway. So instead of scorching here, Phoenix Flames IB, Pyro, right? And that covers the movement from here to here, just using instant cast. And unlike Scorch, that stuff does damage, right? And then the last part of it is like whenever you recognize that you have GI and that IB will hit 2 targets, right? You can just press it and just get the free hot streak.
Yeah.
So just knowing that the web mage is over by it, and I can just, and we're right back to, you'll notice this looks like almost the exact same position I was in slightly earlier, right? I almost do the exact same movement here to go back to my charge point, right? And it's almost the exact same like setup of cooldowns and buttons that I have, because you're just wanting that consistency, right? And here I think maybe I screw up, or maybe yeah, I should not have gotten in melee range like this. I was ready to move into but he did do the second charge in between. I should have been over here, so he picked somebody else, and that's my bad. But fortunately, Manny can just eat the damage with his
usually
wall.
Force it, so like Manny goes into
yeah, Manny plays in melee. I should be
Yeah.
the only one that's ever out of melee range every time. Yeah,
Right.
we get some very cursed frontal there. And this was bad. I had combustion, but I think I still sent a Phoenix Flames for some reason. Yeah, that was a munch.
Right.
And then I should have scorched, yeah, earlier than this. It probably just should have been straight into the second scorch for... What was our tank doing, man? Those are two awful frontals. Squig, what the fuck? But then, yeah, reset right back to the same position. And now we're allowed to scorch, right? So, but just because we're allowed to scorch doesn't mean we should just, like, always scorch, right? If we have some better stuff to press, then we don't need to, but we're trying to get combustion CD back here, so Actually, I don't think it even matters because the boss is at, was it like 200 mil? Yeah, I don't even get to send here. It would be a mistake.
In terms of damage, like would you? Because that's interesting. Would like a PF be more? Okay, now I know the answer to this. Would a PF be more preferential than a fireball, for example? But no, it wouldn't be if you're not in combustion, so to say.
I mean, yeah, the PFs definitely hit harder, but I guess if PF IB pyro out of combustion means that you can cover movement that you would have had to scorch for, and it's not at the expense of having to scorch in combustion, then it's technically better, right?
Yeah.
And that's something you have to think about is, can I do this here? Do I have combustion coming up soon where I wouldn't want to burn the IB or the PF because I'm going to want them in combustion?
Right.
PF's a little less important. The IBs are very important. Because, I mean, PF, is it a better global than Scorch? 100%. Is it...
Yeah.
But it's still a global, right? Like, and that's what the IV is technically +1 pyroblast, right? Because it is not that global.
Right. And
But
here
yeah,
you
that's
always flame strike.
pretty much until everything's dead. If I was in your group, there might be a certain point where I would switch to the Overseer because like Manny and Ulm do good damage to the Overseers. They have good prio. I should be casting here, just running is a mistake. But yes, like pretty much just pyro is this, or not pyro, flame strike, especially as long as the flyers are alive. That is where you can die, right? So whatever helps kill them fast is good. I think I randomly selected a carrier here and that was a mistake. Yeah. Anyway, so I think, yeah, just kind of maybe calming the movement down a bit will be beneficial. Let me see if I can find.
But I also see it because there's when we go through it like we just did, like it's easy to spot like the small mistakes. And one thing that I do understand about Fire Mage is that they do stack up really quickly. And, and like every second outside of combustion that you could have been in combustion is really influential.
Yep. And yeah, Scorch is just such a, like, I almost want to say it's a trap because like sometimes you have to, but a difference between, you know, the really good mages is they will almost like never Scorch because they have better ways to cover their movement, or even just as simple as like not changing what you're, not needing instant cast, but just like I have a shimmer, I'm going to, you know, fireball and shimmer to get where I need to go instead of scorching. Now that's not always applicable because sometimes you just need to dodge like 2 feet to one side, but instant casts are really good for that, right? So like even if you can maybe if you're casting a fireball but you have time to finish the fireball cast, you know, convert the heating up to a hot streak and then use the pyro that you're about to send with the fireball cast to cover the movement, right? If you only need to move a little bit to one side. That's kind of the concepts to think about. Let's see if there's a corresponding, because this is another dungeon with some movement. I wonder if we can see maybe a similar thing. Did you not get through? Let's look at this. Okay. They're in, lusting. Oh, GG. Good altar though. When you do this boss, right before this cast finishes, if you press ice cold right before the cast finishes, it'll cover both this circle and the pop, and you will never have to think about it.
Right.
So that makes it extremely free. Right. Okay, I missed one of these on a run this week. I was doing triple mage, and I threw on the very last boss.
Oh right, nice.
Did you just see that one? That was a fun one to do. I like to slow pick up on this boss just to extend the damage buff as long as possible, but I have no data to support whether that's actually the right decision or not. So
okay.
Yeah. If you're in combustion, it's probably totally fine to just like pick them up quickly and just get to the 3. Like if delaying would mean that you're out of combustion or hyperthermia by the time you pick up the 3rd one, then that's probably better. Okay, let's see if right here, I want to see if you just chill and fireball for a bit. Yes. Good.
But here, I actually get into a kind of weird situation where I'm full at IVs, but I don't really know how to spend them there. Like if you jump back like 10 seconds, you'll see it. Or I used to sit on it and I want to spend it, but I don't know like how to do it efficiently.
Because you get a hyperthermia. You get hyperthermia.
Yeah, I could have like used it here, but I don't.
Yeah, what should you have done here? Probably just spent 1 on converting the last. Well, let's see. You have. Remind me where your spheres are.
A bit earlier still, maybe. Right down below your, like above my health bar. The 2 you see there. It's a bar.
Oh, okay. So you're not close to GI. I mean, you probably could have just spent 1 on converting this last.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit earlier. If you jump backwards a bit.
Where you're like here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, where
yes,
you.
I think I spend 1 used to spend it, but like it's not really an efficient way to spend it.
I think what you did there is fine. Like you just converted a heating up. I think that was okay. I think maybe you could have. It would have been a gain to spend 1 during the hyperthermia as well, just so you didn't overcap. Dude, wow, you guys are getting fucking cooked. Come on, healer! Get him up! Get him up!
I could probably use the mirror image as well here.
Yeah, I like to alter the. Here's an example of why I would like to slow pick up, is because it's like you have nothing really going on, so getting to 3 quickly doesn't really benefit you because like you're out of all of your damage anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got into a combustion, but we were very dry for it, so let's figure out why. So we get out of hypothermia, and we have probably just the perfect amount of combustion. So like here, yeah, here I would have just picked up that 1 in the goop and then gone a little bit to the right, because you know you're not going to do damage for a while. So just going over here and standing here is probably better. And the next one that you have to pick up is this one, right? Because it goes clockwise. If you kind of rotate counterclockwise, you can pick them all up easiest, right? And then you are just kind of scorching here. Even okay, it finally gets under 30. So if we didn't burn 2 shimmers to quickly pick up the stuff, maybe here instead of scorching, you get to fireball. But okay, so we spent an IV there for a pyro. We did another IV. There's a lot going on here, so like that's okay. But we end up in this combustion with not a lot in the tank, and so you end up having to because you spend this IV after the combustion starts, you don't have one for the GI, right? Because you spend that IV. Now when you get this burden, you have to scorch, and because you didn't quite get it back in time for the next GCD, you had to Phoenix Flames, and so we were very delayed on that GI there. You guys still you made it on this one. Yeah, man, one holding one IV there would have been totally fine, absolutely. If you one little optimization you can do on this boss too, you don't have to pick this up right away.
Okay.
As long as your circle doesn't hit it, you're safe. So you can just move your circle off of it and then pick it up after. And if you have combust ready to go like this, that's actually like kind of tight, because you could delay the damage buff to when you're actually going to combust.
Right.
A bit minor though. This one's fine. You were very. Go. He was hiding right behind your UI there.
Yep.
All right, I want to look at Worm Boss. I want to see what you do at Worm Boss.
Yeah.
This is another one of those bosses where fire goes fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe not crazy, but fire does insane boss dam on this boss without ever having, and like actually can cleave all 6 of the mites during the intermission by doing optimal. Okay.
Really?
Immediately, the fact that you did not instantly spin your camera, and I think you probably, you're not casting anything here.
Yeah, this was the thing I know that I wanted you to take a look at, because I hate doing that movement. And
I don't like to go through the boss. I like to go out to the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do it in solidarity, so people don't have to do it.
But yes, definitely you just stay on the boss here. Depending on how that first pull goes, it's going to affect the timings of your stuff here, but assuming you come into this boss with combustion, your goal is to basically get back to combust as these mites are spawning.
I never do that.
Okay.
I'm never in combustion when they spawn. I usually get combustion right at the end. Luckily
for you, I bricked 17 billion ecodomes last night just for the fun of it. If I can find a worm boss, maybe just a random example. Okay, so let's see if this is one where I have combustion at the start. It appears that I will. Or let's see if I send this. Okay, so walking in with combustion, right?
Yep.
Very intentional IB hold for after the mites come in.
Okay.
How many extra seconds of combustion cooldown is that?
I don't remember. 1,
4.5. 4.5.
4.5.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I should hold it. I don't think I've in practicality have used it at any point where I can like remember that there was a gain for me, but I do remember you pointing that out.
Because it was going to be a single target hit. So like I'm already back in here immediately, 30 seconds in, right?
Right.
And then since everybody pulls in these scavengers, once the scavengers are in, there's no incent to hold because you're hitting 3 targets minimum with your GI no matter what. And now here, all right, you can kind of just like hit. I'm pressing that GI just to get the 3 seconds, and now we're already back in combustion again for the 3rd time, right? And what this lets you do, as long as your combustion is relatively, I would never hold it for a certain time on this boss, but you get to hit all 6 of these mites with your ignite, right? Whereas most people have to spread out, and they only get to hit 3 at a time. So you have this. Go ahead.
Wouldn't that in the beginning be a damage loss due to them not being hit by ignite the first few seconds?
Yeah, they aren't quite in ignite range initially, but hopefully you just build up the big ignite on the worm and then they walk into range and they get hit. And the idea is that you get to just hit the boss the whole time, and you actually can speed this boss up a lot, because a lot of groups, a lot of other classes, even just like the meta stuff with Frosty K or Bio Hunter or whatever, like they might kill the ads very quickly that spawn during that intermission phase, but they don't do any boss damage during it. Whereas you get to kill them decently fast for free. And
how would you play the AoE CCs there? Would you do any, or just
if it looks like they're gonna walk, so I try to figure out if it looks like, you can see me spinning my camera to try to figure out who is where, right? So I see Dekel, I see the tank and the Warlock over here, and these are dying pretty fast, and I see just the Havoc over here. So you see that I start running over just in case I have to like do a freeze or a knock or something. The best thing you can do on this boss is position yourself between the boss and the ads just to blast wave if they get a little too close. And that just lets you like hit the boss the whole time. And this is going to be like a 320 split on a 20 ecodome. Like that's fast.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting to try. I've never actually just focused the boss on those mites. I always switch targets.
If you try to tab to them in Pyro, you're gonna do such piss damage to them, and you lose that like hitting all 6 at the same time. You lose that opportunity to ignite spread to every single one. And the idea is like, are you gonna top Might Dam? Absolutely not. The classes that actually do like burst cleave are going to do big damage there, but you're gonna help kill both sides while continuing to fuck the boss. Like that's the thing that you do well on the worm. And like even in our group, I won't be number 1 boss dam. I think that's normally the Havoc DH. Let me find our oh god, it's gonna be easier to pull to 21 that we barely fucking squeaked in. So like nothing crazy. I'm not that far behind Ulm, I guess. And I do almost no damage to the mites in the in-between sets. I don't touch those, right? But I do decent to the what would it be? I don't even know what the groups are. Like which ones are the ones that are on the intermission? It can't be 3 because we definitely get 2 devours. I don't know. Anyway. So I don't think like this is necessary. Is it wrong? No, because if your group needs to kill them, and if that means that you have to swap off the boss to get that done, then yeah. But you've got I would think that a ret pal could solo one side pretty easily, because they just kind of always have damage, and they're just gonna Divine Storm and kill it. And if the hunter and tank went to the other side, you helping out both sides by just staying on the boss, spreading ignite, is going to just you're playing to your class strengths as a fire mage, right? You have your prio target, you're building ignite on them, and you get to technically spread cleave a bit here just because they spawn opposite. And by the time you get your damage going on the little guys, like, remember, and keep in mind that like 40% of the damage that you do to them is a dot that's going to take 9 seconds to fully tick, right? By the time you have ramped that up, they're dead. So just build the big ignite. The best time, if you're ever going into a devour phase and your combustion is either about to come up or has come up, and you've had half of your combustion to already build ignite on the boss, and like by the time the mites are getting in ignite range, you're in hypothermia or something, like that's, and I would let them get closer before I would make sure I could spread ignite to them before I blast wave like that. I wait until the very last second, or I can see the ignite debuff on their nameplate before I ever knock them back out, because that is how I help. That is how I do the most here.
Right. Would my timers be different if I don't do that jump over and miss target damage? Because I don't get into combustions at the right moments, I feel like, on this boss. I usually get combustions right after the mites or right in the end of the mites.
Let me see why it takes you so long to get back into that. Back into the. So you. Was this 2 or 1?
2 pulls.
This was. You're already 2 minutes in. Oh, because you guys do the. Do you guys do the single destroyer and then you do the double destroyer?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit why your timings are a bit off. Most I guess hierarchy groups are just skipping the first destroyer by staying left, and then this is the first pull of the dungeon with lust and some more shit from down here. I normally get 2 combustions. Sometimes I can squeeze in 3 if the key is high enough or like somebody fucks up something. Also, I don't know if you're gonna go past an 18, but those start to one-shot, so be prepared to press some bigger stuff. The dangerous part of this pull is getting a line while the gorgers are doing their gorging smash. That's the overlap that actually kills you, right, on this pull.
Right.
Okay, so regardless, you rip another combust, you go in. This is going to change the timings, but it doesn't change the core approach here. Yep, I was about to say I would just rip the fucking shifting, and that's absolutely fine to do here. Yep, straight into the combustion. So like you lose maybe a cast or 2 there. There's 2 to 4.5 seconds maybe of combustion CD, and then you don't have shifting here, so you kind of just have to just sit and do what you're doing right now. That's just how it be. But devours in, yeah, and you shouldn't hold this, you should just press it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, yep. Yeah, to some degree I hate when people put the puddles right on the spawns, because it means I can't they take a while before I can spread ignite off the boss to them. In this case, I'd have to find an example of one where I did 3 combustions and didn't have shifting or anything for the first one to directly compare. I don't think that's necessarily.
But would you put it closer to the boss instead then? And wouldn't that fuck up the melee ability to give it adds?
Oh, I would just put it. Sometimes it's better to just have it offset. Like our group actually just likes to not put the puddles on the ad spawns and just let them walk in quicker, and then just CC them. But I would say further away, just so. I mean, yeah, if it were up to me and there were like no melee or something, I would put them all on the edge of the box's hitbox, so they would walk into ignite range, then get slowed by the puddles, and then I could just free hit them for. That's the best for me, certainly.
I have seen some people put it like almost on the boss, but just sticking outside of the edges.
Yeah.
In theory, then everyone could hit it, but it's still a bit slow before it reaches the boss.
Yeah, you know, on this particular example, it just seems like you were always offset, and that might just be a routing thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I
if
feel like
it's
I'm
necessarily the wrong decision. Yeah. Okay. Let me check out a. Let me see a sentinel pull.
Yep.
Oh, you guys. Do people play the sentinel? Jesus. They play it here?
Yep.
Okie dokie. All right.
Do you guys skip it?
Or
how do you play it?
Most people pull this sentinel into the pack, like on the other side of this little canyon.
Okay, yeah, that does happen as well.
Okay. So at the key level that I'm in, my goal here is to get 2 combustions. The first one is Flame Strike, and the second is Pyroing on the Sentinel after we break the shield.
Right.
If my teammates are playing the way they normally play, then that's very consistent. The fact that you're on an 18, that shield breaks fucking instantly. Okay.
Yep.
And I don't think Pyroing is necessarily the wrong decision. Because if you tried to do what I did, the shield would break at a very awkward time. Instead, you guys kill it entirely before you get your second combustion back. That's pretty sick. And then, yeah, you pick your next target and you keep hitting. And here I like to cleave off of the phase blades just because they don't jump around and try to juke you with lines or jumps or whatever. So this is totally fine. Yep. Yeah, okay.
I really hate those packs because I can't, like, there's not an obvious target, I think, for me. Like, the phase blades, I like to focus because the same.
Well, yeah, there is no prio, so it really doesn't matter. So you kind of just pick the thing. If the Farstalkers are dying slow, it's kind of good to hit the Farstalkers because you usually want to make sure the Farstalkers are dead before you chain into the next pack. That's kind of like the thing that needs to die. But in this scenario,
mess up my rotations if I focus them because suddenly they're behind me and I like stop in
yeah, totally. The Rune Stalkers are the worst by far.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see with the other Sentinel pull. I'm curious if you guys just had cooldowns for that one, or... I do have to go in like 15-20 minutes, so if we're just... Is there anything in particular you wanted to get to, or is it fine to just keep doing what we're doing?
Is there anything in particular? No, maybe the gear. We never finished that, did we?
Oh yeah, let's go back to the... Okay. Okay, so assuming 1 target 4 minutes with Lust, we could get 2% with Parapodia, Collapsing Stars, and Crafting.
And does that take into account the other ring, whatever it's called, the 730 ring I have?
Yeah, we had all the rings. Yeah, Logic Gate Omega is still there.
No, I mean the other ring. I can't remember what it's called now, but
This one?
The
Radiant Necromancer's Band?
wait, Band of the Shattered Soul. No.
Oh,
Band of the Shattered Soul.
but this one's hero track. Nah, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Okay.
It's good, but it's not myth track. 13 item levels is a big deal. If you can get that,
Okay.
you guys could just hurry up and kill Demi. Probably be tight, but okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be
So
tight, yeah.
clear winner in single target, Parapodia Void Core, crafting a haste mastery ring, and running Signet of the Collapsing Stars. No surprise there. Haste first is the go-to for single target, right? And Parapodia's even more haste. And that is about, that's 0.9 better, the Parapodia over the Crit Trinket in this case. And I simmed at a 10% miss chance for Astral Antenna. So 1 out of 10 orbs you do not get to, which depending on what dungeon there is, you might get all of them, or if it's Dawnbreaker, you might get half of them.
Yeah.
So clear winner there. At 3 targets, which is where Ignite is going to be quite potent due to Intensifying Flame. Yes, no surprise there that the Mastery Ring is the big winner, but not as much as you would think.
Right.
And it actually, crafting is we could get so your current setup, we could get 0.6% in a 3 target, and you could kind of extrapolate this to like 2 to 5. Anytime you're not flame striking, but you are relying on Ignite to do the cleave damage, right? That's what this bracket is here.
Yeah.
More mastery, of course, and the difference between the this single target setup that we were looking at, which was Signet and a crafted ring and Parapodia, and which I believe is this, yeah, but 2.7% less to run Signet, ring, and not a surprise, mastery is wildly better than versatility in this exact scenario. Look at 6. So here's our flame strike cutoff. And all of a sudden it wants Signet again. Because you're not relying on Ignite to do all of your AoE. You're kind of relying on flame strike damage. And then to some degree, Ignite's still relevant with the extra Ignite damage talent, Mark of the Fire Lord. And so like, don't forget that exists. And that keeps mastery still somewhat competitive, even when you're flame striking. But the difference between that and our, once again, BIS single target is 3.3. So yeah, we're definitely gaining AoE to run Logic Gate Omega. Whether or not you're going to spend a lot of time hitting between 2 and 5 targets, that might influence maybe whether you drop that 717 haste mastery ring and instead run something with a little bit more verse. Verse is also nice for the defensive benefit, right? Because we could gain some single target. What was there a Signet and so yeah, there is a Signet Logic Gate Omega combo here that's about the same, 0.2% less than your current setup, and that's excluding the trinkets. So like same trinkets, just that we could get about 1% in AoE, and 2.5% actually, surprisingly, in 3 target.
Okay.
Or wait, no, current gear. Sorry, that's wrong. Minus 0.3 in AoE in 3 target. I don't know if that's worth it. 1% in 6 or more targets, roughly, allegedly. And it's 0.3% less with just that ring swap in 3 target. And it is where was the and it was a 1% gain in single target. I think that's probably worth it over the 717. And I'm not really surprised because like you're going up 13 item levels, so even if the stats are not exactly perfect, like maybe you'd want another big haste mastering or like the same like Whispers of Koresh on myth track is better. It's still 13 item levels, so we're still just like straight up just more stats, right? And maybe, and like, okay, so you're gaining, or no, you're getting about the same amount of, you're losing a little bit of haste actually, I think, with this setup, but you're gaining a lot of versatility, which you are kind of like under indexed on, you could say. You kind of don't have a lot of verse. You can always like, if you want more mastery, you can like swap out your Reshi Wraps or something, right? Or if you want more verse, like there's if I do 20 Priory, I have to swap for a verse here, or else I get one shot by Thunderclap. So,
right,
you know, if I just want the little infusion, yeah, and you can play around with like, for me, the mastery enchant actually seemed better in single target and in AoE. So like I run the mastery enchant and I run the mastery flask, and that stuff is what sims the best for me.
right.
But generally more item level is going to be better because more stam, more straight up more stat, right? And because you already have a decent amount of haste, losing a little bit to gain a significant amount of verse is probably fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could I mean, that's, yeah, it's gonna want that logic gate omega in like almost every AoE scenario. Yeah.
Okay, so the logic gate is pretty much like in M+ for me preferable, but then probably combining it with the Signet then.
If I didn't have to run as much verse as I have to live, then I'd be running the logic gate. But for me, I have to trade haste for mastery because I have to have a certain amount of verse for some of these keys. And losing 6k haste rating felt fucking awful. I don't even know if it was actually worse, but I was like straight up missing cast because I was so used to being at like 50 something, 51% haste or whatever it was, that going down to 44, I was like, it all feels wrong. It feels wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you send me these
yeah, I got
links,
you.
please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Awesome,
There you go.
Thank you. So maybe one last thing we could take a quick look at before we finish, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
That's my usage of Mass Barrier. And I say that more in terms of lack of usage of Mass Barrier. And I would describe it as I barely use it because I feel like I don't know when that would bring the most value to the group, because I don't know when the healer will do the healing cooldowns. And I wouldn't want to use it unless I knew it's valuable, because it costs a global cooldown. So then either I don't use it at all, or I use it in a like meh place, because that's when I'm not in combustion and I feel free to use it. And I think that's something that could be useful to help the team out with the AoE damage on certain places, but I don't know like how consistently to use it in a very valuable base.
Yeah, like you didn't cast it. How many times did you cast it on? Yeah, we just kind of like ignored it for maybe 2 or 3 casts here. So mid mini boss, that's fine. The way I try to think of mass barrier in a uncoordinated group is if you can think of a time or like a specific part of a dungeon where it just seems like people always fall over and you have mass barrier, maybe just rip it. A good example is, for me, one that instantly pops into my mind, is the second pull of Floodgate. It always seems like someone gets nail gun, bomb comboed, and dies. And so I just have a habit now of, as soon as we finish the first pull, I just rip the mass barrier, right? Because it's gonna last a minute anyway, and that just lets us like run into that next pull with everybody's got the 3 mil shield. Floodgate as a whole is a bad example because I use mass barrier as a personal unkeys, but since we're kind of talking about Ara Kara and Eco, first boss, you should have it as you guys are running in. You can just, like, if you want to, press it again in between your first and second combustions just to maybe ease some poison damage or something like that. Or you can do it when you do the engorge crawlers on the second pull. You can, if you still haven't pressed it at that point, you can press it on one of the Call the Broods on the second mini boss. You can press it on one of either the alerting shrills or the gossamer things on first boss. If it feels like the healer is struggling, then you can help them catch up. I don't just rip it because my healer will tell me if he wants me to press mass barrier on one of the mechanics on that first boss, but again, uncoordinated, you can kind of just press it. And the great thing about that first boss is if all of so what we don't want to do is mass barrier, have the mass barrier get eaten by just like the little crawler melee damage, and then it's not actually still there for when the stuff that kills you, like the actual like shrill damage, right, or the gossamer damage that actually takes you from 100 to 0. The most optimal time to mass barrier is like after a tick or two of alerting shrill, you press mass barrier, and what that does is that it eats a tick while everyone's at 60%. So your healer's globals during that time, it heals health bars, but it like kind of pauses the incoming damage, right? If you do it before the damage occurs, it's still less overall healing that the healer has to do, but the healer can't heal, or there's nothing to heal until the barrier has been consumed. Right.
True.
Whereas if we waited until everybody was half HP and then pressed the barrier, technically it's gonna potentially save more lives because the healer is healing is already happening, and you're now just delaying the next tick of damage by absorbing a good amount of it with the barrier, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's always the most optimal time to press it, is like if there's a spike or rot damage, or like you're about to take a bunch of hits in a row, waiting for 2 to 3 of them or something to go off. Another great example would be Dawnbreaker's second boss, right, during the AoE. If you barrier off the rip, it's more convenient, but barriering halfway through or like after 1 or 2 ticks is going to just give your healer a GCD of no damage is happening, but we're going to push health bars back up, right? So as opposed to just slowing the descent from 100 to 0, you're kind of like giving the healer an opportunity to bump it back up before the damage kicks back in again. Speaking of, that's a great boss to press mass barrier on, especially during the overlap if people don't press defensives. When I say the overlap, I'm talking about that third AoE that happens right after the orb, like the orb hits and the AoE goes. That's probably the most dangerous part of that Dawnbreaker boss. If you haven't used mass barrier on Avanoxx, then a great place to press it is whenever you're on one of the beetles and they're doing Locust Swarm. And again, waiting a tick or two and then pressing it, right, is going to do the most to keep people alive. Unless things are going crazy and there's cast going off, then you really don't have to press it until you get to the... You don't really need it during the second boss. There shouldn't be a situation where there's not a lot that the healer actually has to do there. Before any of the flyers carriers do a charge in the last area, great time to mass barrier. You can save not only yourself but other people by giving them some more health to work with. And then you kind of don't have to press it. I kind of just like on the last boss, if it comes off cooldown and I have like, and I don't really have any, like I'm not in combust, I'll just fucking press it, because then I'll just eat some like poison ticks or something, right, at some point. So that's kind of the breakdown for Ara Kara. Eco, I save it specifically for when the sentinels get under 50% HP. I will, as soon as I see someone get ticked, I will press mass barrier to try to save them, and then it should just eat some damage for everybody else as well. The second boss, if it comes up and there's a javelin set coming out, mass barrier is a great time to do it. Or if it comes up during the intermission, that's a great time to do it. I press it not only pre-pull, but like usually if I see someone out of defensives get a line on the destroyer pulls, I'll mass barrier just to try to help them live it, because it does a lot of damage and that can be good. So usually the cadence for that is that I'll like barrier during the first pull. It'll come up sometime during the first boss, but it's not really a point to pressing it on the first boss. And then I'll like press it on the first sentinel pull, and then it'll come back up on the second sentinel pull, and it'll come up sometime during second boss. And then at some point between the second boss and the third boss, you're going to be on a pack speaker. There's going to be a time where it's doing the ritual that is like the AoE damage, and like you can just mass barrier that, right? Yeah. Same idea. Wait 1-2 ticks, and then when you see people's health bars starting to move down, mass, and that'll give the healer a chance to like push people back up a little bit before the barrier gets eaten. And then on last boss, the double hit, like the most dangerous part of the fight is the individual circles, right? So I will try to mass one of those, and usually I'll wait. Same concept. I won't mass the first one. I will wait for the first hit and then mass barrier, so that the healer can get people's health bars back up, because usually people aren't going to die 100 to 0 on the first hit. It's that if the healer can't top them off before the second, then they're going to die. Right, so I mass to try to just help.
That's actually really good advice, like the waiting for the damage to pop, because that's something that's applicable to like all the fights that I do.
And this is not just a mass barrier thing. This is a mage barrier usage thing as well. You can apply that same concept to anything that doesn't one-shot you. The best time to barrier is like mid through the damage, because you are pausing your health bar moving down and giving the healer a chance to actually move your health bar back up. The best time, I mean, ideally you barrier, and like a good example, I'm trying to think of like where there's just no rot damage or no ticking damage at all, and the barrier is just going to sit there for 10-20 seconds. First boss is Streets, right? Zofex. You can barrier as long as there isn't that mob out that does the dispels that like tick your barrier down if you get it. You can pretty much just like press barrier when it comes up, and the next time impound contraband goes off, it, you know, the barrier just helps eat that damage. So like that's one where you can kind of just press it whenever. But for a boss like for most other bosses, and I can think of a specific example because I gave someone feedback on this when we were progging Dimensius. It wasn't enough to just like, hey, I'm gonna barrier a lot. If you're barriering because there's a specific damage spike that's coming down the pipe, right? You're about to take a 6 mil hit. You're about to take a 9 mil hit, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's also rot damage, so that like every second you're taking, let's just say 1 million, or every 2 seconds you're taking 1 million, much less. If you barrier 5 seconds in advance of the big hit, the barrier is pretty much gone by the time that actual big hit happens. And this incidental rot damage that the healer would have had the healers have zero issue keeping you topped through, you absorbed that. instead of waiting till the very last second to then barrier right before the big hit goes off, whereas that's the one where you drop low and the healers have to try to push you back up, right? And they're trying to do that to the whole raid. If you wait until that damage is about to hit and then you barrier, instead of absorbing this pointless incidental damage that the healers have zero issue keeping you topped through, you put a significant dent into that 9 mil hit that has a much higher chance of actually killing you if it combos with anything else, right? Or maybe they have there's a very specific part of Dimensius where I mean, I can tell you exactly why why I'm mentioning this, and it's so like, you know, you go in, you get knocked, or you do the Devour, you get knocked, and right here there is this spread. So like this pool drop, and like you can see, right? Watch the barrier.
Yep.
We're waiting until the soak, or maybe I didn't actually do it on this one. Oh, I'm trolling. Never mind. Okay. Never mind. I think maybe this mattered before we got turbo boost, but this combo of soak into gravity, right? There's, or not soaks into gravity, but the drop pools into soak. If you don't get topped during this, then this can absolutely kill you, right? It's 2 damage events within like I think 6 seconds of each other, and so the incidental rot damage is, we don't care, right? We don't care about it at all. Man, I can't believe I didn't do that on this example. Another example would be in P2, where you do the group soaks here. You want to, like, the best time to barrier is not well in advance. The best time to barrier is right before those soaks go off, if you feel like you're gonna die, because that's when there's this big spike of damage, and if you're gonna die, like, this is where it's gonna be. So like barrier, you can see right there is actually a good example where there's nothing better going on, and right before this goes off, right, we barrier maybe a little no, 0.2 seconds before the gravity goes off, we barrier, and that way, like, my health bar doesn't move, right? Here's everybody else, right, getting chunked down to 40%, 30%, right? So we're eating the thing that's actually lethal instead of just kind of pressing it whenever. Okay, I do have to run though. I am sorry I have to dip here, but
no worries at all. I'm super grateful for the time.
Cool. Okay, then dude, if you want to like pick this up sometime next week, we can I could definitely find some time on the holidays, so just let me know.
For sure.
Okay.
I'm very grateful though.
It was good to talk to you again, man. Always down to yap about Fire Mage. All right, I'll catch you later, man. Have a good rest of your night.